Listen on 80. That seems right. Okay. Either way, we've got this session here, so we can look at our sessions, running sessions. I1, because here's the ID, 1. And we've got a shell in the box. Let's find out who we are. www data, however you want to pronounce that. So we're on the box. We have achieved step 1. The ultimate goal, of course, is to get root and find whatever flag we're supposed to get. So let's think about how we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and drop into a shell. You're not going to want to always drop into a shell, and I'll show you why. So if you look here, actually this might be a little bit different in Linux. Yeah, so we see this shell running, and then we see this ps command. If we do this, yeah, there's binsh actually running. Do we see that here? No. These are this is how the actual ps command runs. I'd imagine that 30076 was part of that ps command. Yeah. So if we exit out of here, go back to our interpreter shell, there's no sh just kind of laying around. Well, there is now, but there's no like binsh showing that somebody's logged in. If we're just sitting here at the interpreter shell and somebody runs a ps or a w or something, they're not going to see anything. As soon as we run this shell and we're in the shell, you're going to see that binsh sitting there. So you don't necessarily always want to jump into the binsh or the shell functionality of interpreter. It's just, it helps expedite things, especially in you know, a CTF or a boot2Root where, you know, stealth doesn't really matter. So not having a prompt sucks. So let's show you a quick trick to get a shell. If you notice, we do Python -c. That's going to actually, like, I want you to run some Python code for me. So we're going to run import pty, and we're going to use the spawn method of pty to actually spawn a program here. And what this is going to do is it says, hey, I want you to actually spawn like a real bash session for me. So here we are. And we're up and running. Cool. So we've got this bash set up. We've got, you know, our prompt here, so we know where we're at, we know what we're doing, we know who we are, what our host name is, etc. Also, we're able to do things like sudo -l. We don't have a password, so you know. But you wouldn't be able to do this normally. And in fact, let's drop out of this. If we do a sudo -l, yeah, no TTY present, no ask program specified, etc. So you can't do, you know, su or sudo or anything like that from like this interpreter shell, from this, let's call it a half shell, if you will. It's not a console or a terminal rather. So we'll do that Python trick. Get back to this, and if you notice, we can do su now. We can do sudo. Cool. So let's do some basic enumeration. Let's take a look at what kernel we're running. We're running 3.1. That's interesting. What else do we have going on? We can cat, or we'll do LSP release -a. This is just a command to kind of show us. Oh, it must not be installed. Yeah. That's not installed. LSP release is kind of a distribution agnostic way of determining what your distribution version is. So, in Red Hat, you can do like cat etc, like Red Hat release, I think it is, Red Hat dash release maybe. Debian, it's Debian release, I think. Debian version. So if we cat etc Debian version, it says that we're using Wheezy SID. I thought there was an Ubuntu version as well, because we're on Ubuntu, not Debian technically. It's a Debian base distribution. I thought there was an Ubuntu one, maybe there's not. It doesn't really matter. Oh, there's an LSP release. Okay, here we go. So we're running Ubuntu 12.4. Okay, so precise puffin, I think that was. I don't remember. That was a long time ago. Cool. So what else do we like to do? I like to see if there's anything in the home directory. Well, we'll cat etc password first, see what users there are. There's the standard users plus John, whoever the hell John is. Let's take a look at home. It looks like we have read and execute access to John. So, maybe we can take a look at what he's got going on. We can't look at his bash history, which is unfortunate. Bash logout, bash RC, bash profile. We can take a look at it. Probably not super interesting. Nothing super out of the ordinary. Looks like he's got the default ls aliases going on. And then cat.profile. Again, nothing super important, just setting up the default path here, making sure that they source the bash RC file, which has more information than normal, than what the .profile has. So nothing interesting in John's home directory, which is unfortunate, but not altogether unexpected. What about we can also check for var temp, see if anybody else has been up to no good here, which they haven't. Fine. And then my next standard stop before I start getting like really crazy with just looking for world readable files, or looking at every piece of software that's installed or whatever. The next thing that I like to do is I want to see everything that is in the various cron tabs. So if you look, here's where we run ls-al. You should be familiar with these by now. This shows the dot files. The A is for everything, the dot files too. The L gives us this cool output, and then the minus capital R is recursive. So I want everything starting at etc that is cron, starts with cron and below. So I'm looking at the cron.daily directory. These are things that will run daily by the cron tab. There's also hourly, monthly, weekly as well. But there's a lot of stuff in daily. You don't normally see this much stuff here, so it's a little suspicious. Let's go ahead and go into cron.daily. And we see everything here. So we can cat some stuff, like what's going on with password. Are they doing anything funky with password? So we've got a for loop here that enumerates or iterates through these 4 different files. I'm not sure what test does. It looks like this is some sort of backup file or backup script here that kind of backs up password group shadow and G shadow. Do we see backups? Oops. I don't see .back files. These dash files, password dash, are also backups of those files. Maybe that's what it does. But anyways, cd dash, by the way, will just take you to the previous previous directory you were in. And if you look at your environment, you will see pwd, which is your current working directory, or yeah, current working directory, and then your old pwd, which shows you the previous one you were. And that's how it knows how to flop back and forth. So, it's just going to bounce you between those two over and over again. It's a handy little shortcut that I use from time to time. So anyways, back to the task at hand. This is another time where, luckily you're walking through this with me, who already spent several hours on this boot2Root, and we're working through each thing. So what I will do is read through the scripts themselves, see if there's something silly like I'm going to read from this world writable file and run it, every minute or something like that. Did we do something like that in a previous? Did something like that in a previous boot2Root. I'm not sure if I've made a video on it yet. That might be coming up. So stay tuned for something like that. But that does happen. Because system admins are not infallible, and they're often overworked and unable to devote their attention to every task all the time, slip-ups like that do happen. And it's not because they're stupid or incompetent. It's just they're trying to get their job done as quickly as possible. So that does happen, but that's not the case here. The next thing I'll start doing is start, Googling, different packages that are installed, or, looking for vulnerabilities for things. And one thing I did notice is while I was Googling, and again, this process took like an hour or two, but it kind of went through, and this is a package in here that I'm unfamiliar with. If I was looking at this list of things right here, I would pick out probably the check rootkit and light HTTPD for vulnerabilities, just to see if there are any. So let's take a look, and we'll do this one. Check rootkit vulnerability. And there appears to be a privilege escalation vulnerability in this package. And it doesn't always work the way we want, right? So this here, it says check rootkit 0.49. So we're on dpackage. I forget the syntax for this. Is it info minus I maybe? No, minus I is going to be install. List audit. I don't think it's -- version. Maybe it is. Secure connection failed. Oh. Well, that's weird. Oh my god. Why is this happening? So, Oh, because my date's all messed up. There we go. Huzzah. Remember, kids, clocks are important. S S is what we wanted. Let's check status. Okay, so dpackage S, and it's check rootkit. And we appear to be running 0.49. So cool. Let's take a look at this vulnerability then. And I know that kind of my big shtick is explaining everything, right? Coming at it from the new thing. So what I was hesitant to do this this vuln VM because it doesn't really give me that opportunity because I also don't want to show you like an hour and a half of me Googling. Like no one is going to watch that. I did a poll recently to see what people wanted, and I'm really glad that the Boot2Root walkthrough won because the just live Boot2Root, like from beginning to end, get pretty close. I don't think people realize like how much time that takes, right? Either I solve it really fast in the same amount of time that I solve everything else, and that's less interesting, or it takes me like 4 hours, and oh man, that it just wouldn't be good. So please trust me in the fact that the only thing you're missing is me Googling over and over again, and I hopefully have highlighted the pertinent Google areas. If you have any comments or feedback about that, please don't hesitate to post comments either in tweets or on YouTube or whatever. But anyways, let's take a look. So found a serious vulnerability in the check root package, which may allow attackers to gain root access to a box in certain configurations. Temp not mounted no exec. Well, let's find out if temp is mounted in no exec. Excuse me. It is mounted no exec. Well, that's interesting. Put an executable file named update with non-root owner and /temp. Not mounted no exec, obviously. Run check rootkit. Will be executed as root and thus effectively rooting the box if malicious content is placed inside that file. If an attacker knows you're periodically running check rootkit, like in cron daily, interesting, and has write access to temp. So it's not mounted no exec, it's if I have write access to temp. I appear to have write access. So what can we do? I don't want to do this stuff. What is this even doing? Possible slapper worm installed. Oh, this is the vulnerable stuff. It's checking for slapper worm. So there's our temp update. That it mentions here. So for I and slapper files, do if the file's there. File port I. Where is that coming from? What is file port? Mm. I don't know what that is. Interesting. Is it? Oh. Oh. Yeah, so because the file port's empty. Oh. Huh. Huh. That's funny. So somebody really effed up there. Cool. So what we should be able to do is let's put ourselves in the sudoers file. So if we take a look, can we cat etsy sudoers? Probably not. No. So let's well, we want to add them as no password, right? So no password. So if we do, so this looks like we want what we want. We want, if we echo that to the end of, oop. Oh, I want to, because I want to set up a file that echoes it. So if we echo into temp update, right? So if we ls al etsy sudoers is last updated February 27th. So let's so in a couple minutes, because remember this is running all the time, and daily it's making sure that it's running. Forget how long it takes for this to happen. I might have messed it up too, now that I think about it. So what will happen, hopefully, is that we should get I remember it taking a couple minutes, but oh my god. Waiting during a live stream is like pretty much the worst. Yeah. It is update, right? Not. It is update. An executable file. Do I need to make it executable? See if there's some other descriptions of it, maybe. Oh, got updated. Sudo -L. There we are, as root, no password. Oh my god. Okay, now let's go to root, see if we got some stuff. We've got this crazy text file. There we go. There's our flag. So viewing this, we have quote unquote successfully completed SickOS1.2. I don't know why that's in quotes, but you know, it happens, I guess. Challenges focus more real-world scenarios where tools can be blocked during assessment and they're by fooling testers. Yeah, so the reason they say that, and this actually gave me some grief earlier today. Let's background this real quick. Yeah. So if we background this too, we can actually search for check root kit. One of these days, I'm going to get this database like built so that I'm not wasting time in streams, like waiting for these searches to come back. Yeah, so there's this guy here. And what you may not know is that you can run, exploits against sessions. So we could actually set up this check rootkit exploit to run against session 1, which is our interpreter on that Ubuntu system, and actually exploit it. So we'll set session to 1, and we'll show options, show payloads. Okay, so we're going to set payload to CMD Unix reverse I'm not going to go through all this, mainly because it's just not going to work. He has something set up that's going to block this from working, which is unfortunate. But if you would have tried to do the Metasploit thing, you would have, been frustrated, and that's important for a few reasons. One, as this is, used as a, used by people as a OSCP prep VM. You can't use Metasploit on most of the test. So you need to kind of know how to do things without Metasploit. Also, Metasploit can be noisy. It can be unreliable in various ways. It might not be great for stealth, depending on the engagement, where you are in a network, etc. So it's good to kind of not rely on that stuff. Python C pty, sorry, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. Because remember, without this, you can't use sudo or su. So sudo boom. Another thing that I want to show you guys is cat new rule. This is the thing that was blocking us earlier when we had that crazy port number for our reverse shell. This is basically saying we are only going to allow certain ports in and out. Though it does look like, oh yeah, so output, it'll only allow an output if the source port is 22 or 80, or if the destination port is 8080 or 443. So that's why our outgoing port of 80 wasn't going to work. So that's interesting to know. Cool. So actually, one thing that I didn't do before is I always like to look at the bash history of these things, just to kind of see what they did as they're setting up the VM. You'll notice that you can see the specific version of the check rootkit file here that they used to probably install it. So let's get up to the top here. Oh my God, there's a lot here. Okay. ifconfig, set as password, reboot, installing light HTTPD. Downloaded the actual exploit itself. Interesting. Let's see. It's got netcat. It's running. Is this him testing it? He's connecting to some IP address on port 8080, shoveling bin bash through that. Various things with rootkit, probably trying to get the correct, make sure that the vulnerability works. Setting it up so that the new rules come up on every boot. Making sure firewall rules work. Configuring light HTTPD. Setting up John, the user, not the password cracker, I assume. IP tables, IP tables. Change the banner. Setting up the website itself. Okay. And then I want to check out John, because I wonder what he used that for. Nothing. Was it just like a rabbit hole that they were expecting us to go down? Interesting. Cool. Well, that's that. That's the SickOSv1.2 Boot2Root. I hope everyone learned some stuff. Lord knows I did. I probably learn more from making mistakes during the live stream than I do like walking through the Boot2Root beforehand. So again, hopefully everyone learned some stuff. These will, of course, all be on YouTube coming up. Feel free to post any feedback on the comment section. Also, the slight update to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is now youtube.com/DerekRook because I officially have 100 subscribers and am internet famous, probably. So hopefully that'll be a little easier to remember than the crazy, whatever crazy string on the back of my YouTube channel was before. Hopefully I will catch you all next time. Thanks again.